Morning all. Well, DB Moto's first catch-up of the new year. Well, the new year's been going on a while now, we're about 2 weeks in. I need to catch up with everything. The start of this year has been absolutely crazy. Compared to the last couple of years, we've got bikes flying in and out every other day, like just in the middle of summer. Previous years in January we've had 1 bike, 2 bikes a week booked in, and we've been working through our project work. It just shows how much busier we've got. February is full, we're filling up into March. We have space for the occasional light work service, but the main diaries are full. Quick catch up on where we are with everything. There's a lot to go through, as you can see. We filled up a bit again. The 3M8 is waiting for the engine to come back and build again. The Yellow 350 air-cooled is a bike that's been into us before, and people might know. That's in for some more work. I'll detail that as we go, because it's in for a little while. This Yamaha TZR 253XV, we had it in last year. We did a bit of work on it to get the we got the carburetors running right, that was it. But it still wasn't running brilliantly. It had some jackal pipes on it and it wasn't ideally set up. But the owner wanted to improve it, so he took it to Mick Abbey and got some pipes made. And to get the best out of those, we needed to change the ignition system, so we changed and put a Zealtronic on it. The customer sourced it, brought it in. So Mick made the pipes, brought the bike to us. We put the Zealtronic on it in the week, and we've been dyno testing that, and we've got some really good results. So I'll do a slightly longer video on that and show what we've got. The RD500 is done. Well, certainly running. We've done about 20 plus 25-ish road miles on it now on the dyno. It's going to be running an oil pump system. It's always run pre-mixed before, which I agree with the owner is a bit of a faff, so he wants to put the oil pump on. So before we do any further testing, we need to fit that oil pump system. Now we know the engine's good. And then we can start doing some running and testing properly with it set up as it's going to be going forward. This beautiful Fireblade has been to us this is its third service with us. It comes in, we service it, we do the specs and checks, and it goes back to its owner, who does a few hundred miles a year on it. And it's a gorgeous bike to do that sort of thing on. Don't blame him at all. The Samurai engine is mainly back, we're just waiting for a slot to rebuild that. The VF400, we've done cam chains, cam tensioners, cam slippers, we've got it running all back together. Engine sounds so much better, we've got good compression now on all 4 cylinders. The carburetors do need sorting out, that's all. Grief, it's gone gloomy and the light's gone out. Oh well, see if I trigger it as I come back on. BMW K1200, this has been brought into us for just checks, sort it out and see if we can make it work. There we go, get the light back on. The owner bought it unseen, got it to his house, few bits and pieces, so he brought it into us, just said, can you service it, sort it, do whatever it needs. The first thing to do is get it through an MOT and then see how it runs and rides, because the engine's an unknown. So I said to him, there's no point putting a brand new great set of tyres on it and doing loads and loads of work to it only to find that there's something wrong mechanically somewhere serious. But seems okay so far. So he's going to get it through an MOT, then he's going to do a few hundred road miles on it. If that's okay, then he may look at things like a new set of tyres and just some other minor improvements. But runs and rides okay. We did find one really strange thing with this bike. I've never come across this before. Well, it's hidden under there now. John changed the oil and filter on it. He took the oil filter off, and there was a piece of plastic came out with it, and it was the cover that an oil filter comes with out the box. You normally remove that cover and then you fit the filter, and somebody had pushed the filter on, pushed obviously the threads of the engine through the little bit of plastic cover and then screwed it on. I don't know how the engine was getting oil pressure, but it was, thankfully, and it still worked. But we don't know how long it was like that, and we don't know if it's done any long-term damage. So that's kind of why we're saying to the owner, get it out, get it tested and see what we're doing. GT550 engine has come apart. It came into us for a right-hand engine crank seal to be changed. We did sort of pressure test the engine, found that the crank seals were failing, but I did say to the owner, you can't just change a crank seal on these, they're encapsulated onto the crank, so the crank has to be rebuilt. When we took it apart though, we also found the middle cylinder at some point in its life had seized, so it's now having crank and rebores. Now this is a sort of bike I don't take in very often, just because you can imagine the amount of space it takes. I think this bike is nearly sort of 12 feet long, it's certainly 8, oh yeah, got to be nearly 9 feet long. It came in because it wouldn't start. Once it started, it ran okay, so I was told by the owner, but he just was finding it really hard to cold start, and it was because of the design and angle that the carburetors were at. When it came in, these carburetors were actually sat backwards like this because the engine's been slightly rotated up. It's a custom built frame. The choke mechanisms up here couldn't get any fuel from the float bowls down here. So when you pulled the choke out, you were just letting more fresh air in. It wasn't picking up any fuel. With the airbox missing and the pipes as they are, that was making the problem even worse. We found a solution. It's not ideal, but it does work. The carburetor vent pipes that come out here, we've brought them together, a little T-piece down there. You can pull the pipe out and you can blow down the pipe. That puts pressure, that pressurizes the float bowls with your blowing on it, pushes a bit of fuel up the jets into the bell, into the carburetors, and then the engine sucks that down and gets going. It's like the old-fashioned tickling the carbs on an old Brit bike. You basically just flood the carbs up with a bit of fuel. But once you've done that in the morning and got the engine started, for the sake of 2 seconds to blow down a pipe, you've got an engine that will start easily then, and then run for the rest of the day. The Mito 125 with a 350 engine, we are really working through just cribbing list jobs now, just minor stuff to get sorted out. Yesterday's job was we needed a magnetic speedo sensor mounting, so John made this little bracket down here to mount this little speedo sensor. It picks up on the bolts of the disc as they go around. We'll just have to coat that or spray it a little bit, but that's mounted now and the speedo works. So this rather nice Translogic dash unit works. It now needs to go onto the dyno so that we can set that dash up. All of it has to be done with the engine running and the wheels turning. SRX 660. This is one a customer has put a water-cooled engine. Well, it's an air-cooled bottom end and a liquid-cooled top end, and electric starts on it. So the problem with these bikes, they're kickstart standard, which can be quite hard to do. So the owner, to make it easy, wanted to put an electric start engine in it, which he's done. The problem is the bottom end of the engine doesn't have a water pump on it, because originally it's an air-cooled engine. So he has got an electric water pump, which he's fitted into this little gap down here. So we had a radiator here, water pump in there. There's lots of wiring to do, but it all needed linking up. So I've had to make this hose here, which hopefully you can see in the gloom. So that's 2 pieces of hose, and we've made a continuous joint there, and then just sort of tried to hide it. We didn't want clips and joints everywhere, so I've just put a bit of sleeve over that just to hide that and make it look like a single piece of pipe. We've created a pipe there to go into there. We've created a pipe here, and again there's another little joint just here which have sleeved in. So there's some clamps under there and a joining piece. You can buy sections of hose pre-made into bends, but you can't buy bespoke hoses. They're very, very expensive. As one company said, we charge £600 for the moulding and we'll give you a hose for free once we've made it. So yeah, 600 quid hose. Honda Africa Twin. It's having steering head bearings done. We nearly got them finished last night, but not quite. We did a snapped off exhaust bolt on it. The customer had changed the exhaust and that bolt in there had snapped off. So we drilled that out of the block and rethreaded a helicoil insert and put a new stud in. A few other minor jobs, but it should be done and out today. A set of carburetors came in. FZ600. These are a bit filthy. They went into the tank. They've been cleaned up. They've been refurbished, put back together, and they're on this rig here, just having a pressure test. Basically, we put fuel on them. We leave the fuel on for an hour or so. We just make sure we've got nothing leaking out. That's about it, I think. That's the sort of catch-up of where we are. Oh, I walked straight past this Triumph. 24 plate, Speed Twin 900. This is a bike from Revellion Motors at the other side of town. Dave's got a customer wanting to come and buy this bike, so it needs its service catch-up. We inspect them, we pre-delivery inspect them, we do a checklist on them for him, and we put right any issues we find and service the bikes for him that he sells. And he's doing very well at the moment. It's Revellion, I'm pleased to say. So that's it. Oscar's due in literally any minute, and then we will crack on with a few of these bikes today. That BMW K1200 is going back. All of these bikes that are outside, they all get covered. I've left the covers off just so I can show you the rub. Our next job now is to stick a cover on each pair of bikes. It's one of the reasons I don't want too many bikes in the workshop. Every morning we have to push all these out so that we've got space to work, and then if the weather's inclement or even slightly wintry like today and grey and miserable, we just have to put covers on them, which is just a chore at the start and end of our day. It just means we're doing less work, and I'll be honest, it's hard work. I've pushed all these out on my own this morning. Takes it out of you in 5 or 10 minutes doing this, in and out every day. So that's why I try and keep the workshop bikes down to about 7 or 8. And if customers say to me, oh, I'll just leave it with you, I'll just bring it in and leave it with you, you can work on it when you like. That's why I try to say no, it needs to come in when we've got a slot for it and can go when it's ready. Until we get a bigger workshop. I'm looking continually. Decent sized unit workshops around here are few and far between, so we'll keep going. The aim for this year though is, if we can, to find a bigger workshop, and that will allow us to put in a new bench at least, and increase the size of our team. There's me, Oscar and John, and we'd like a fourth really to get through the workload we've got. But anyway, all for the future. That's today sorted ahead of us, and we'll see where we get to by the end of it.